Kremlin dictator Vladimir Putin, stating that Washington is seeking a long-term truce in Ukraine, reported by Kellogg on Fox News, as reported by European Pravda. Kellogg, commenting on the progress of the peace talks in recent days, expressed confidence that the United States is in a pretty good position when it comes to the Ukrainians. And a 3-day ceasefire is absurd, he said, commenting on Putin's proposed the 8th to the 10th of May ceasefire. Kellogg stressed that Trump favors a comprehensive sea, air, land infrastructure ceasefire for a minimum of 30 days, and then we can extend that.
And when you look at everything that the Ukrainians are willing to work with, now it's over to the Russians, over to Putin, Trump's special envoy noted. We've got one side, and you need to come to the other side. And I think we are close.
North Korea is aiding the war that Russia is waging against Ukraine. Pyongyang is responsible for the bloodshed, the spokesperson of the U.S. State Department, Tammy Bruce, stated.
North Korea is not being helpful. They're not being helpful. There are other nations that also are facilitating this carnage, and their actions make it possible to continue. Third countries like North Korea have perpetuated the Russia-Ukraine war, and they bear responsibility for it.
The State Department spokesperson emphasized that the U.S. is concerned by North Korea's direct involvement in the war. She also called on the DPRK to stop aiding the Russian Federation in the war, reminding that this violates UN Security Council resolutions. North Korea's military deployment to Russia and any support provided by the Russian Federation to the DPRK in return must end, Bruce stated. Russia's annual economic growth has fallen from around 5% to 0% since late last year, weighed down by inflation, military spending, and lower oil prices amid tariffs introduced by U.S. President Donald Trump, reported by The Economist. Russia's central bank reported in early April that several sectors have recently experienced a decline in production due to a sharp drop in demand. Following Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, economists had predicted that Russia's GDP could shrink by as much as 15% annually. In reality, GDP fell by only 1.4% in 2022 and returned to growth in 2023 to 2024. What has triggered the sudden slowdown? Economists point to 3 main reasons. The first factor is what the Russians call the structural transformation of the economy. Once oriented towards the West and allowing albeit restricted private business, Russia has since 2022 shifted towards a wartime economy focused on the East. This shift required colossal investment not only in the production of weapons and ammunition, but also in establishing new trade routes with China and India. By mid-2024, real investment in fixed assets had risen by 23% compared to the end of 2021. According to Russia's central bank, this phase is now complete. In 2024, military spending is expected to rise by just 3.4% in real terms compared to a 53% surge the year before. This decline in spending on structural transformation is one of the reasons for slower economic growth. The second factor is monetary policy. Inflation in Russia has remained well above the central bank's annual target of 4% per month, reaching over 10% in February and March. The main drivers are soaring military expenditure and a labor shortage caused by mobilization. Last year, nominal wages rose by 18%, prompting companies in hike prices. In response, the central bank maintained its key interest rate at 21%, the highest level since the early 2000s. These elevated rates attract capital inflows into the ruble, helping to strengthen the currency and reduce the cost of imports.
High-frequency data suggests that inflation is edging down. The flip side of disinflation is slower growth. Rather than spending it, Russians are putting their money into savings accounts. High rates further discourage capital investment.
The third factor has come to the fore in recent weeks, the deterioration of external conditions. Amid the escalation of the US trade war, global economic growth forecasts have dramatically deteriorated, followed by oil prices. Mr. Trump may be well disposed towards Mr. Putin, but with his trade war, he has kicked him in the teeth, The Economist notes. Falling oil prices are creating serious challenges for Russia. The impact is already visible in the state coffers. In March, oil and gas tax revenues dropped by 70% compared to the same month last year. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe.